And headed by the Irish Challenger, number 1, Abbey Glen, written by Frank Berry. 2, Barnbrook again, Simon Sherwood. 4, Danish Flight, Mark Dwyer. 5, Hownard Blinkett, Mark Pittman. 6, Jim Thorpe, Richard Dunwoody. 7, Orwell Times, Graham Bradley. 8, Prideaux Boy, Alan Webb. 10, Randolph Place, Phil Tuck. 11, Romahoff, Ronnie Began. 12, Saffron Lord, Richard Rowe. 13, Southern Air, Mark Perrott again. And 14, Terry Ash, written by Seamus O'Neill. And here's how they're betting at the moment.
And it's joint favourites to open with, Barnbrook again, and Abbey Glen are on 11-4, the joint favourites. Randolph Place and Danish Flight, 9-2. So we have joint second favourites as well. Saffron Lord, 8-1. Then a gap to Orwell Times, 14-1. On 16-1, Jim Thorpe. Prideaux Boy, 20-1. How Now is 25s. Two of them on 50-1. Southern Air and Terry Ash. And finally Romahoff is 100-1.
As they race towards the final fence now, and Abbey Glen is out in front, Wolf of Badenoch in second. Raise Your Hand has been dismounted on the turn in, but as they come to the last, Abbey Glen, Frank Berry out in front. The best novice chaser we've seen in Ireland this season, Abbey Glen. He's about 2 to 3 lengths in front. He's over the last from Wolf of Badenoch in second. He pitches a little on landing, but it's Abbey Glen out in front from Wolf of Badenoch challenging in second place, and they're clear of Von Alma as they race into the closing stages. Abbey Glen over on the far side in the lead, giving £6 to Wolf of Badenoch as they race up to the line, pushed out by Frank Berry. He's 2 up now in the title race, and at the line Abbey Glen wins it for the Pat Hughes stable, about 3 lengths in front.
Now as we join it, Danish Flight is in the yellow colours, the big sheepskin nose, but in fact they've all got them there. Then the white face of High Debate, Saffron Lord, and Randolph Place tucked in behind them gets rid of Phil Tuck after doing a double somersault. The two camps have varying opinions as to how well they're going, but here Danish Flight in front and going particularly well. He looks good there. Saffron Lord in the black and white colours behind of John Holmes, vainly challenging here, but not really going anywhere at all. I'm afraid that at this stage, poor old Randolph Place has got up and followed on riderless, and we still don't know the real worth of it. But certainly, Jimmy Fitzgerald's horse jumped well under Mark Dwyer, just pitched at that a little bit, and came home a convincing winner on the day. That was a stiff test. He came through with flying colours. It was an absolutely marvellous display. Saffron Lord, slightly disappointing, but he has got better since and was most impressive last time out. In third place there, High Debate coming home on his own. So, Bill, what do you think of that Danish Flight?
Danish Flight's lovely.
Well, there's a clear favourite. Abbey Glen is 11-4, and Barnbrook again is going out 7-2 now, second favourite. Randolph Place, third favourite at 9-2, and Danish Flight is fourth in the betting at 5-1. Saffron Lord, 7-1. That's come in a point. Orwell Time, 16, so is Jim Thorpe. On 25-1, Prideaux Boy. Southern Air, 50-1. And How Now, 100-1. On 150-1, 2 of them, Terry Ash and Romahoff.
The champion hurdle to see you then, so he's a really top-class horse, and he was really impressive in his early races over fences when dominating from the start. Let's have another look at the betting.
Abbey Glen, the favourite, 11-4, and Barnbrook again has slid out to 7-2. Randolph Place, a bit of a nibble there. It has gone from 9-2 to 4-1 and is third favourite. Danish Flight, 11-2. Saffron Lord, 7-1 from 8. Orwell Times and Jim Thorpe, 20-1. On 25-1, Prideaux Boy, 50-1, Southern Air, 100-1, How Now, and Terry Ash and Romahoff have gone right out to 200-1.
Randolph Place just sweating up a little bit under the saddle. Number 10 in light colours with hooped sleeves. Won 5 successive races before falling in the race won by Danish Flight at Nottingham with Saffron Lord second. Randolph Place was odds on that occasion. And that was the first time I saw the Randolph Place race in the bit of video we showed you earlier. And he was certainly going well enough and close enough when he fell. He's 4-1. And his trainer Gordon Richards rates him very highly indeed. 12 fences to jump in this Arkle Trophy, and they always go a tremendous gallop in this race. There have been some very big fields for it. Last year there were 19 when Gala's Image won. 12 is more realistic size. I'm sure the jockeys prefer the smaller size field. Number 8 is Predo Boy, another horse like Barnbrook again, to have not been beaten very far in a champion hurdle, but the recent rain will not help his chances, though he has been impressive in his races over fences. He was fairly well beaten by Saffron Lord last time, though. Number 7 is Orwell Times, trained in Ireland until recently. He's joined Toby Balding's string now and is ridden by Graham Bradley. He ran over longer trips in Ireland. He won over 2 3/4 miles, and according to Tommy Stack, who knows much more about Irish form than me, Abbey Glen would definitely be the better of the 2 Irish horses. That's Abbey Glen in the picture. Abbey Glen, 11-4 favourite. Barnbrook again, 7-2, and Randolph Place at 4-1, 11-2 bar. And Danish Flight in the light colours with red epaulets, just on the right of the picture now, just beginning to walk to the left. Winner of his last 4 races. In fact, he would probably have been unbeaten in his 5 outings this season if he hadn't parted company with his jockey first time, but they're lining up. Here's Peter O'Sullivan.
12 runners with 12 fences to jump, and Captain Michael Sayers releases them on their way. Saffron Lord towards the right of the picture, Barnbrook again, centre, the cross belts, Abbey Glen right up just in behind them. Saffron Lord and Barnbrook again takes it up now from Saffron Lord. Then comes Abbey Glen and Orwell Times and Danish Flight. Barnbrook again there from Saffron Lord. Abbey Glen and How Now and Randolph Place, Orwell Times being tracked by Danish Flight, who's got Southern Air behind him. Predo Boy, one of the back markers, with Terry Ash actually last at the moment, and Barnbrook again the leader as they race towards the fence that'll be the last on the next circuit. Barnbrook again, clear at the moment from Saffron Lord and How Now and Orwell Times and Abbey Glen and Randolph Place. Then Danish Flight, Terry Ash the back marker, Barnbrook again the leader. From How Now, Saffron Lord, Abbey Glen, behind Abbey Glen is Orwell Times, then Danish Flight, behind Danish Flight, Randolph Place going well on the inner, and then Roma Hoff as they race towards the next. Barnbrook again. Jumps it beautifully, a little bit to the right, but lands well clear. Swings left-handed now to run downhill. The leader by about 2.5 lengths from How Now, with on the inside Saffron Lord, on the outer Orwell Times. Then comes Abbey Glen and Randolph Place on the inner. Danish Flight also going well. Jim Thorpe's next, then Roma Hoff, Widow Boy, Terry Ash and Southern Air. Barnbrook again made a mistake at that one. Jumped very much to the right. He's had a tendency to jump to the right, and he lost quite a bit of ground at that one. They're running down to the water now. And as they do so, it's How Now, Orwell Times, Abbey Glen over on the outside with Danish Flight up there, right up there. Barnbrook again, as I say, lost quite a few places. The first of the ditches now. Abbey Glen rises towards the outside. How Now on the inside with Saffron Lord. Orwell Times well with them. Behind them Randolph Place and Danish Flight as they jump this plain one before the last of the ditches. Barnbrook again in trouble, jumping right once again. Saffron Lord on the inside of How Now, Orwell Times. Abbey Glen is 4. Behind them going well too, Danish Flight and Randolph Place as they race towards the final ditch now. Saffron Lord on the inside of How Now, Abbey Glen on the outside. And Fowler there. Danish Flight moved into 4. Randolph Place fell at that one, fell at the last ditch. They're racing downhill now. Orwell Times the leader from Abbey Glen in second. Third there is How Now, 4 Danish Flight and 5 Saffron Lord. Widow Boy is trying to get into the picture in 6th, and behind him is Jim Thorpe, and Barnbrook again looks to be counted out of it. It's Orwell Times now, the ex-Irish horse, leading the Irish challenger Abbey Glen, with Danish Flight coming there challenging on the far side. Widow Boy certainly not out of it at the moment. moment as they come down to the next. And at this one, Danish Flight lands in the lead from Abbey Glen in second oval times. It's Danish Flight and Mark Dwyer now from Frank Berry on Abbey Glen. Prideaux Boys in third and oval times 4. Racing now to the second last fence in the Arkle Trophy. Danish Flight with a commanding advantage now from Prideaux Boy and Abbey Glen in second and third. Prideaux Boy made a bad mistake, rounding the home turn now. And as they do so, just one fly, one fence left to jump in the Arkle Challenge Trophy, and Danish Flight for Middleham is well clear of Abbey Glen second. Jim Thorpe has moved into third. It's Danish Flight with a 3-length advantage from Abbey Glen. Mark Dwyer from Frank Berry. Frank Berry renewing his challenge on Abbey Glen at the final fence. Danish Flight lands 2 lengths in front of Abbey Glen. Jim Thorpe's a follower at that one. Oval Times comes next, and then Barnbrook again. It's Danish Flight beginning to weaken as Abbey Glen challenges again over on the far side, but Danish Flight is holding him as they race up towards the line. They've got 25 yards to run. It's Danish Flight from Abbey Glen, and as they come to the line, Danish Flight has won the Arkle Trophy, and second is Abbey Glen, and third is the revived Barnbrook again, and fourth oval times, and then came Saffron Lord and Prideaux Boy and Southern Air and Terry Ash. And so the result of the Arkle Trophy is first, number 4, Danish Flight, owned by AF Bajek.